The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. Hello and welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig, your wonderful and gracious host. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today, and we also want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant sponsorship of this show. We have a lot in store for you today. We're going to go over the scoreboard from last night. We're going to preview the action tonight. We're going to have a coach's corner and season preview from Camel boys basketball. Nick Cantorino, he will be featured on today's show. And also, we have some news about the broadcast on Friday. And we will start with that. Our breaking news from the media desk at YSN, I guess you could say, the football broadcast on Friday. South Range and Anderson will both be covered by YSN, but due to the video rights held by Spectrum TV, these will be audio only broadcasts, which means they will be free for you guys, but audio only on Friday as Ursuline takes on Toledo Central Christian, and then South Range takes on Liberty Center. So those two games will be covered by YSN, but they will be audio-only broadcasts, and we will bring the best of that, best coverage we can possibly bring you with audio-only broadcasts for you there. So that's going to be fun. We're looking forward to Friday. Hopefully we get 3 teams in a state championship, because don't forget Hoban is also playing as well. So we have 3 teams fighting for the chance to get into a state championship, and we hope that all 3 of them can get there. We can talk about state title games all next week. That would be really fun. So just the house cleaning is, of course, Friday will be audio only broadcast for football. Now, that being said, let's get into the scoreboard on YSNLive.com. Talk about the games that happened last night. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the action for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores of your favorite teams across the YSN family. Whether they are your heated rivals or your best friends, you don't want to miss any of the action that they're going through. So make sure to check out the YSN scoreboard. It can be found at ysnlive.com/scores, and it is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's get into it. Last night, girls basketball, we had a pretty decent slate of games. Boardman goes on the road, gets their first win of the year, 57-36 over Marlington. A big win for the Spartans to bounce back from their loss over the weekend. Cheney. Oh, man, Cheney is for real, guys. They lost to this Poland team by 11 points last year. This time they go on the road to open the season against Poland, and they get the dominating victory, 52-40. Poland had one lead in this game, and it was very brief. It was a 1-point lead. Cheney almost led wire to wire, minus that 10 seconds of a 19-18 Poland lead. Not to say that they were always running away with the game, but they always kept Poland at bay. They always would make that big shot when Poland would get close to make sure that the Bulldogs were not going to be able to make a rally. Alyssa Brown, our YSN Freshman of the Year from a year ago, had the day that everyone expects her to have, 27 points for the Cowgirls. But there was also other offensive contributions. Don't know why that was so hard to get out. There were other offensive contributions where they found balanced offense. 27 out of 52. Yes, that's a little bit more than half. But last year, a lot of games, it was Alyssa Brown scoring more than 80% of the Cheney offense. So now we're seeing other players step up, be able to find ways to score. If Cheney can get 3 or 4 girls with 6 or 8 points, and maybe one with a double figure 10, Alyssa Brown will get her points. No one's going to stop her from that. That's going to be very key to Cheney's success. The other thing that Cheney is really good at right now, at least in this game, in the first game of the year, rebounding was a very big thing that they dominated, especially early in the game. They were able to really rebound the boards against Poland and get second, third, fourth chance opportunities. And if you give a team that has athletic scorers, 4 chances, they're going to find the hoop. So Cheney making a statement, first game of the year. They are taking that next step. Last year they were a little bit on the radar. They had the player that could score points. They were definitely a dangerous team. This year they're taking that next step and trying to become contenders. I think they're absolutely a contender in the Steel Valley Conference. And what a big thing that would be for this program to win the Steel Valley Conference. I said in the broadcast last night, there's been no disrespect, but like a couple years ago, the thought of Cheney girls basketball winning a Steel Valley Conference was a pipe dream. And now here they are looking really good against a very good Poland team that has won every conference championship they've ever been in the NE8. So the NE8, since its conception, has always belonged to Poland. So this is a continually good basketball program that Cheney goes into their house, gets a win on opening night, 52-40. That might open some eyes. And now here you go saying Cheney's a legitimate contender in the Steel Valley Conference. And like I said, a couple of years ago, you say that it's a pipe dream for this program. And now all of a sudden it's a reality. And, we're going to have to see what the Cowgirls have the rest of the season. They get a conference game right off the jump on Wednesday as they will play Cheney at home. They will play Mooney at home. Very, very interesting team to watch. Very fun team to watch. And big things might be coming for the Cowgirls if they continue to stay on the right path. Columbiana's defense was suffocating last night as they hold Girard to just 28 points and win 43-28. No overtime required in this one. Clippers all over the Indians. East Palestine gets the close win over Matthews, 31-30, a big win for the Bulldogs. Newton Falls all over Latonia. Final score there, 48-10. Southern Local had 9 3-pointers as part of their offense as a team. They win 53-39 over Heartland Christian. South Range had 3 players in double figures as they get their first win of the season in their first game of the year, and their final score was 52-19 over United. The crazy thing is about this game, believe it or not, it was tied after one quarter, 9-9. So it was back and forth. It was looking like it was going to be the same as it went down last year, but then South Range scored 35 combined points in the second and third quarter and ran away with the game for sure the rest of the way. Sophie Lucente had a big game for the Raiders with the team high. They also had great nights from CC Foster as well. No shocker there. The senior trying to become a big part of this team in the NE8. So 3 players in double figures for the Raiders. They roll. They have a big test against Columbiana on Wednesday. Lakeview has won 2 backyard rivalries with Warren area schools as they beat Howland on Friday night, and then they come into Champion on Monday and beat the Flashes 42-33. The final score there, Bulldogs had a slew of offense to really talk about. I mean, there was plenty of scoring to go around for this Lakeview team. Excuse me. Pulling up the stat book, they had 11 points from Sophie Irwin, and then they had 8 points from Annabelle Humphrey, as well as 6 points from Max Stowe. Very balanced offense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players scored. They had 10 points from Calista Warner as well. So another game where no one had like a eye-popping night where they scored a bunch, but very balanced, and that's harder to beat sometimes than one player you have to stop. So Lakeview looking good, 2-0 on the year. Niles was very competitive against a good LeBray team on the road, but LeBray pulls out the victory, 57-46, the final score. McDonald all over Liberty, 41-40, the final score there. They get the win. Jackson Milton cruises to their first win of the year over Chalker, 50-21, final there. Maplewood holds off Middle Ridge, 54-42, the final. The Rams suffer their first loss of the season. They'll be at Struthers on Wednesday. Tough one for Pymatuning Valley. They lose on a buzzer beater to Berkshire. A last-second 3 gives the Badgers the win, 44-43, the final score there. Wyndham, they fall to Middlefield Cardinal, 48-14. Hubbard is 2-0, and they have 2 straight wins against Steel Valley Conference teams as they go on the road and beat East, 49-38, the final score there. And then last but not least, Lisbon trails for most of the game, but has a big fourth quarter to hold off Bridgeport and get the win, 47-41. The final score there, Lisbon gets the win. So a big night in the EOAC. You have Columbiana with the win, Southern Local with a win, Lisbon with a win. East Palestine with a 1-point win. So a good night for the EOAC schools as a whole. Not every single EOAC school won, but plenty to look forward to in that conference as teams getting off to good starts to the season. We will be back in the scoreboard a little bit later on in the show to talk about the games that will be happening tonight. But for now, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we will have the season preview coaches corner with Nick Cantorino, the head coach of the boys basketball program in Camel. And Ty Bartel had a chance to catch up with him last week. So we'll hear what he has to say about the upcoming season for Camel when we come back on Running Point, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Don't go anywhere.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, No job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We continue to do that today with our Coach's Corner and season preview out of Camel, the boys basketball program. Nick Cantorino has been doing a great job with the Red Devils over the last several years, and looking to continue that this season. Ty Bartell had a chance to catch up with the head coach down at Camel this week to talk about what the season holds and what we should look forward to in Camel this year. And we're going to feature that on today's episode of Running Point so we can shine a light on this program and the amazing coaching staff that leads it. So here is a season preview and Coach's Corner from Camel Boys Basketball head coach Nick Cantorino.
What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we're joined by my man over there in Soup City, home of the Camel Memorial Red Devils boys basketball team, Nick Cantorino. Coach Cantorino joining me today. How are we doing, Coach?
Good, Ty. How about yourself?
Not doing too bad myself. And I mean, you haven't been doing too bad with this Red Devils program the last few years. It's seen a ton of success, and you guys have been able to build it and culminate it to where it seems like there's a almost set standard of expected success here from these Red Devils and from the bottom up. What have you been seeing, though, this year so far in the practice season and the scrimmage season from the Red Devils? What stood out to you?
Well, I mean, just the last couple of years, it's just the willingness of this kid, these kids to want to compete, that's the first and foremost. These kids just get after it, that they love basketball. Anytime we have open gyms or workouts, they're here, they're showing up, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're just feeding off each other. And we have a great group this year. We're just starting off with scrimmages. We've had two, had some ups and downs so far, but I mean, that's early basketball. But yeah, we're definitely excited about this group and anxious to see what the season holds for us.
Let's talk about some of the names we're going to have to get used to on the floor this year and some names that are going to be garnering some big minutes on the floor for the Red Devils.
Okay. We have a good returning depth. Josue Rodriguez was one of our leading scorers last year. We're looking forward to him taking the next step. Tion Harris, big-time energy guy. good rebounder, good defender, just a great, like I said, energy guy who's going to bring a lot to the table. We have Christos Davis and Mahali Koulias. Same thing, great energy guys. Christos is a guard who can handle the ball, shoot the ball a little bit. Mahali, just straight energy, good defense. And then we got Jared Cologne who's going to run some point for us, which we're excited about. Last couple of years, we've had multiple people run the point who, maybe weren't point guards. So we're excited about having a true point guard this year come in and, kind of lead the troops.
You guys have been at or near the top of the conference, too, in this string of success the last few years, winning a few conference crowns along the way. Talk to me about just being able to constantly compete night in and night out in this very, very tough MVAC grade division, and how you guys expect to do it again this year.
Definitely looking forward to it. We actually switched tiers this year.
Switched tiers, you competed in that one. So now I completely forgot about that. Forgive me. So you got a whole new wave of competition too going into that. Have you done your scouting? Have you done your homework in that?
Starting to a little bit. That grade tier was we had some good matchups there. Built some great relationships with some of them coaches. I felt like us, Falls and LeBray just had really good games. Even Liberty, like we had some good battles with them guys. So now it's finding these new rivalries, these new matchups, and kind of see what the future holds here. But we're expecting to compete. We've been at the top, like you said, the last couple of years, and we're hoping to be able to come to this new tier and hopefully be at the top.
I mean, it's exciting for sure. I mean, you guys have almost a completely revamped schedule, and we saw that starting in the volleyball season. Forgive me, I forgot you guys made that switch, and when Southeast joined the gray one as well, too. It slipped my mind. But you talk about that. You talk about some of the non-conference games as well, and you guys have a pretty strong non-conference schedule there as well. How do you feel about the schedule overall, testing-wise, and most importantly, I would say, probably from game 1, game 2, just seeing that growth and seeing this team start to gel?
Yeah, I mean, we've always believed in getting tough non-conference just to prepare us. We have a lot of good teams around here. The last few years we've been playing Mooney, JFK, who've had a lot of success. They're two of the most successful the last few years, getting regionals and all that. So we like to test ourselves, Struthers, Poland, Girard, Badger. So, we want to test it early. Like that's how you get ready for conference play. So that's kind of been how we've been the last few years, just challenge our guys and see how we respond.
When I've talked to a lot of smaller school coaches about the way that divisions have expanded now in playoffs, they've talked about how it's the field is different for the bigger schools. The path is just shorter for the smaller schools. Do you agree with that and what you've seen? And now that there's expanded divisions for playoffs, does it seem like a lot of those same teams you were running into are going to be there before? The path just might be a little bit shorter?
I mean, that's a tough one. We've looked. I mean, it's tough to tell on paper. We got some new teams that have had success in the past. So you're not really sure what they bring back. I mean, I think the obvious thing is you kind of get rid of those couple juggernauts we've had the last few years. Like the Lutheran East was always with us. Yeah. So, I mean, we're happy they're not around.
I'm sure that's always a big juggernaut team there.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know year to year with some of these other teams that we're not very familiar with. I'm sure there's going to be some tough competition, but like you said, just on paper, you're kind of missing that juggernaut that's kind of been there the last handful of years. So we'll kind of see how that plays out.
Yeah, you're going to have to beat someone good the further you get anyway, too. Let's talk about what your team's strengths are going to be and what you guys are going to need to do identity-wise, what it's going to look like for the Red Devils this year, what you're going to need to do to get your wins.
Well, we're going to pressure the ball on defense. We have a pretty small backcourt, but they get after it on defense, and we're going to hope pressure leads to some easy buckets. I think offensively we're going to play fast. We're going to try to get the ball down the court, get a bunch of shots up. But I think it all comes down to defense with us. I think the last few years it always has. We're not going to quite have the length that we've had the last couple of years, but I think pressure-wise we'll be able to make up for that.
Do you see yourself going into this season preparing differently now that you've seen this string of success? And does it feel like a standard's being set with the boys as well, too, that they want to repeat what they saw last year's team do or maybe excel from last year's team?
Yeah, I mean, we were expecting a little bit more last year, honestly. I mean, I think we underachieved. to a point. I mean, we won 16 games, but the goal is not always to win games. We went in wanting to win the league. We went in wanting to try to get to a district, and we kind of fell short. With the new format, with the playoffs, we were kind of surprised with some of the teams that jumped our way, and had a tough road there. Lost to a team that lost in the district championship. So I mean, nothing to hold your head about. But like I said, we felt with the depth we had last year and some of the experience, we thought it would have been a little bit better. So I mean, these guys are, and again, we got 4 or 5 kids who played a lot of minutes last year coming back, and I think they're hungry to go further.
It seems like that interest is staying strong with basketball in the Camel community, but it also from both the players and the fans and community perspective, because it feels like you guys every year get a great turnout, great support for the basketball games. Tuesday, Friday night, it doesn't matter when you guys are playing to home or road, that it feels like they follow well as well. What's it like to have that type of community support? How much does that help trying to build the program and build the guys' confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, these kids feed off it. When our gym gets packed, it gets so loud, and that environment's just awesome for high school basketball. It's awesome to play. And like I said, it gets so loud, you can't hear. The adrenaline pumps, the kids feed off it. Like I said, it's a fun environment to be around. Hopefully we'll be in a lot of those this year.
When you talk about right now from a coaching perspective, your short-term goals, say from now until game 1, and your long-term goals, say from now until game 22, end of the regular season, going into tournament draw or after tournament draw, what would you say some of those short-term and long-term goals for this specific team are?
I mean, short-term is just trying to figure out what rotation, the rotation, how it works, who plays well with each other. Just trying to figure out, how many guys we're going to play, to keep us in a rhythm. That's kind of what you use scrimmages for. So hopefully by December 3rd, we have an idea of what our rotation is and, what we want to do with each group. And then just kind of building off that, using the season, get some quality opponents. Hopefully we put some wins together. And so we always want to compete for championships, and especially with the expanded divisions, we think we have a chance to do something. What that something is will determine, throughout this year, how we respond and how we come together as a team. But we definitely have some high expectations around here for this year.
I always like to give my coaches an opportunity to shout out their staff and highlight some other big names in their program. So I want to give you that opportunity this year as well.
Yeah. My assistant coach, our varsity assistant, is Paulo DePasquale. Really good coach. Kids love him. He's going to be a really good head coach here pretty soon. But I love having him around. Like I said, kids just love him. We have a new JV coach, Eli Street, came over. Paulo actually coached him when he was in McDonald. Again, fitting in really well with us. Kids are really feeding off him. Excited about what they're going to do. And then with freshmen, we have Benji Santiago, who, again, kids love him. We love him. He's just entertainment. He helps keep everybody loose, but we just love talking with him, love having him around. So, excited about our group of coaches here.
You guys do a great job, it feels like, of having that coach and player connection to and building those coach and player trying to connect with your players and trying to get the most out of them.
I think just having them in school, seeing them every day, having that daily conversation, just random conversations. Doesn't always have to be basketball, just kind of life, what they're up to, what they're watching, stuff like that. I think that just kind of feeds into it, but we all have the common goal. We want to compete, we want to win. And, these guys like working hard, and it makes my job a lot easier when they're there working hard every day. And we don't have to push for, working for them to, we don't have to coach up the effort. Some years we had to coach up effort, and that was all, you get so tired them years where they're not working as hard as they should, but we don't have that problem this year. And I said, I think that kind of just feeds the relationship and kind of get to focus on other things besides just basketball.
You could definitely tell every time your team's out there playing, they're putting 110% effort out there on the floor, no doubt. Coach, it's a theme question I've been asking a lot of the coaches this year, and it goes back to the lessons that the game teaches all of us. You're one of the teachers in the game. You've taught countless young men the sport of basketball and how it relates into their everyday lives. But I want to know what the biggest lesson the sport of basketball has actually taught you in your life.
Oh, man. I think it just, it gives you what you give it. If you give all your effort, you're going to see a lot of success and a lot of rewards from it. You know, if you kind of go through the motions, you're going to see it. You know, I've always felt like if you work hard, you have a chance. You know, I kind of instill that in these guys, and I think we've done a pretty good job of kind of playing like that. You know, and I take a lot of pride in, you know, working hard and outworking people. And when we get outworked, I mean, there's nothing worse than that. You know, so we always try to outwork everybody, and hopefully we continue to do that.
What's that old adage? Hard work beats effort. When effort doesn't work hard, it's one of those too. And I mean, like I said, man, your guys play hard for you, and you could definitely tell it. Final question for you, and it goes into our opening day too, both for boys and girls basketball. Opening tip-off and Thanksgiving correlates to me. It's always right around the same time, right? I need you to shout out your first game, shout out to the Camel community, why they need to support you guys this year, but also shout out your favorite Thanksgiving Day dish.
Oh boy. I'm a big stuffing guy.
That's number one right now.
Yeah,
you're patting the lead right now for
it. You know, our first game is December 3rd at Girard. You know, hopefully we're getting a good turnout. You know, always excited to go back to my home school, my alma mater. You know, hopefully put up a good effort. And like I said, hopefully the fans are there to watch us play.
I'm sure if anyone in the Camel community is on the fence right now, you don't have to worry about the effort that this team's going to put out there, and they're going to have a ton of great athletes out there. I'm excited to see you this year, Coach, and within due time, we'll cross paths on the hardwood here real soon.
Looking forward to it.
All righty, Coach. It's been a first edition of Coach's Corner with Camel Memorial's boys basketball skipper, Nick Canarino.
Nick Canarino with Camel, like Ty just said, what a great season preview that was. And we love talking to Nick Canarino when he is able to share his time with us. There are not too many coaches that do a better job, I think, of getting the most out of the players that they're putting on the floor. I remember a couple of years ago when they had that superstar riddled team that was full of seniors that came back to Camel for their senior year just to try to make that program special for that year. And then they did. They made a big run. And a lot of people after that year said, okay, well, you know, that was their only bullet. And then Nick Canarino has proven that it wasn't just that. It was a culture of Camel that he's been able to build. They've been successful under him over the last several years now. So I think he has solidified any of those questions or doubts that kind of are aimed towards the legitimacy of this program. No, Camel boys basketball is very good, and they are going to be a very big problem in the area for a while, not just because of talent. They have talent. Of course they do. You can't win without a little bit of that God-given ability, right? But there's also this culture, this work ethic that he talks about in that preview that Camel has that is going to take them over the top and make them really tough to beat inside the MVAC. So we are definitely looking forward to Camel boys basketball. First year in the Scarlet tier, by the way, for Camel. Remember that. It'll be very interesting to see them play teams like McDonald as a conference game. I'm looking forward to both those matchups. Camel versus Springfield, you know, as a conference matchup. Camel versus Western Reserve. Those are going to be really good matchups for the Red Devils. And we can't wait for that. And we can't wait for Camel boys basketball starting soon on December 3rd. That'll be their first game. We go back into the scoreboard. We talked about last night. Now we're going to talk about tonight and see some of the action that's going down on the network and around the network tonight in girls basketball. Tonight is November 26th, so you click on that date at the bottom of the screen and you scroll up. We start with Canfield and Ursuline. Canfield opening up the season. This will be a fun one. Ursuline, very defensive team. They almost were able to get a win in that opening season tournament at Hiram. They lost by 3 points to Walsh. So they're going to try to recoup and go on the road to Canfield and get a win. You know, you talk about this game and you talk about Canfield specifically and the new faces that are going to be big members of this team. A lot of their scoring from last year isn't there anymore, especially, you know, I think the 3-point shooting that was so good for them last year. Will they still have that identity? Will they still be a good shooting team? Will they still be able to score from the perimeter? Because they're not the tallest team in the world anymore, and they're going to have that outside presence. Otherwise, people will just completely take the inside away, and they won't worry about the outside, and then they'll have nowhere to go, right? If they have nothing but athletic drivers that want to drive to the hoop, if teams only take that away, and then there's nothing to do on the outside, then Canfield would have a problem. But I do think they're going to be a very good shooting team. I think they have good shooters. They have good scorers. And their defense will always be the key. Matt Reel always preaching defense first and always having that defensive mindset to his team. So they're opening the season, and they have what I think will be a very defensive game against Ursuline coming up. Howland goes to Crestview, and I know the way the first game went, you might think, oh, Crestview had a great season last year. Howland might be down. They didn't really look that great in their first game of the year against Lakeview. But you watch that tape and you watch that game, and I've watched it getting ready to call this game tonight. Howland had a lot of opportunities that they got out of the offense that they executed well. Just missed shots, right? Missed good opportunities, missed good shots. If they go in, not saying Howland wins, but that's a much closer game than 11 points. So, yeah, I think, they kind of realized, hey, it's one game, right the ship, make those shots that we're getting out of our offense. They're very talented. Maya Kabanchik will be a very tough player to stop for the entire AAC this year. She's having a great season just in her first game already. Had a great volleyball season. Will have a great softball season come the spring. She's a great athlete, right? And great athletes are hard to stop. Crestview, we all know what they're going to be about. Addison Rhodes, Lorraine Gaskins. That's a two-headed monster. And they have very impressive sophomores that are coming back for another year with a year under their belt. Kerrigan Miller, Breida Cross, people that really can handle the basketball pretty well. And then some perimeter shooting from Meyer Miller. So there's a lot of ways that Crestview can hurt you. We all know that. And they're kind of hungry. They lost in the district championship last year. They want to break through and take that talent they have to regionals because they have so much talent right now in that program. So fun, very excited to see what Crestview has in their first game, and I think Howland will be a good first test for the Rebels. Wellsville will be opening up their season as Beaver Local comes to town. East Palestine travels to Cambridge tonight. They're trying to bounce back after a loss. Perry will go to Riverside to open up their season as the Pirates. No, I'm sorry. Pirates played over the weekend, so they're 0-1. They did lose. West Branch trying to go to Minerva to open up EBC play. McDonald will travel to Valley Christian. You have Lordstown going to Camel. Sebring will be on the road against Cleveland John Adams. Bristol will be hosting Western Reserve. Lakeside goes to Grand Valley tonight. Warren JFK hosting Canton Central Catholic. Here are the games that will be on the network tonight and the broadcast crew that will be covering them for you for the live games. Let's see, we will have 5 basketball games on the network tonight. Matt Marr will be on the call as Valley Christian goes to McDonald. We have that the other way around on the scoreboard, but I'm pretty sure our spreadsheet is correct. Gary Altizer will be in Wellsville as they match up with Beaver Local. I will be in Crestview for their matchup with Howland. Eric Hughes will be at Camel as they welcome in East Palestine. Ty Bartel will be at Canfield for Canfield Ursuline. So that'll be the tone for tonight. Going to be a fun night. All those games are free, by the way, for people that are new to YSN, came in while we were doing pay-per-view for playoff football. The only games that we charge for are playoff games in YSN. We do not charge for our regular season action. So all these regular season basketball games will be free to stream. And once again, reminder that football Friday with the state semifinal games will be audio only. Because Spectrum Sports has video rights for those games. So we will have audio-only free broadcasts from South Range and Ursuline football as they both fight for a chance to go to the state championship game. And that is going to about wrap it up for today's episode of Running Point. When we come back tomorrow, Scotty Mincher will be in the sidecar talking about everything in the sun that Scotty wants to talk about. I'm sure we'll bring up more about these football matchups from a week ago and what's leading into Football Friday. We will recap the action that goes on tonight. And, of course, we will preview the action that's going to be happening tomorrow. It's a really big Wednesday. A lot of really good non-conference matchups in girls basketball, and boys basketball officially tips off tomorrow as well. So we'll have a lot to talk about as far as games that are happening tomorrow on Running Point. So you don't want to miss any of that. Come back. We'll be here at 1 o'clock. Me and Scotty Mincher will have you covered like we do every Wednesday. It'll also be the last Wednesday without Wrestling Wednesday, because Gary Altizer are going to be coming on and doing Wrestling Wednesday Season 4 next Wednesday on December 4th. So that's going to be all fun all the time, right? So make sure to check out Running Point tomorrow. We are always brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today, and we will see you all next time here tomorrow. Tune in tonight to